Hey, crazy as usual, friends. I am providing a special edition of the Crazy as Usual podcast today to get your opinion on what we need to bring a little bit of normalization in the workplace for what we call mental health that has been taken out of context. Let me just explain. I grew up in a family where um, what I call normal was really not normal in most families. And my mom was in and out of mental institutions, heavily medicated, gone for weeks at a time. I would end up at a neighbor's house, or we'd have somebody at our house taking care of us. We also had a housekeeper for a period of time who was a highly functioning member of the mental retardation center. And I think it was fantastic that my mom wanted to employ somebody who had, limited capabilities to work in the workplace. She was very loving, but a little bit um, handicapped in her ability to mentally understand what's going on. I'm not going to tell the scary story that you've seen in my book if you've read my book, but all that to say, the context for mental health was set at a very young age. And then fast forward to my mother has left, my father's raising the two of us who are still left at home. And he ends up with early onset Alzheimer's. And at the time, he went to the Veterans Administration Hospital with what they called organic brain syndrome. And because Alzheimer's wasn't a household name at the time, really, he was relegated to a mental health ward. So my visits to my father when I was 13, 14 were in this mental health division of the Veterans Hospital, where people were sometimes in straitjackets or, talking to themselves in a corner, drooling, not functional members of the community. So the framework for mental health in my mind was this icky, smelly, messy kind of situation where I was very happy to go back to my life, climb my trees, and try to keep myself separated from that existence as much as possible. And fast forward to last year when I wrote the book, it was really to talk about the fact that the crazy that we feel is pretty much normal. There's nothing unusual about wondering what's wrong with me, because we all run into some kind of a period in life where we run up against a wall. We're just trying to figure out what's really going on here, or is this usual? Do other people experience this? And I've found that since we started doing these Fridays at 5 communities, people are finding so much joy and peace in knowing I'm not the only one who feels this way, but not just in that community. I run a couple of CEO roundtables, and highly functioning, successful CEOs have the same struggles with, the monkeys that tell us we're not good enough, smart enough, or qualified enough for whatever it is that we're doing. So this is why I started trying to put together a database of resources so that the community has a place to search for um, some kind of solution to mental health. And what I've found is just today, after all of the work that I've been doing in the past year to try to connect different resources in the community and talk about building a database, I found out that the city of Colorado Springs is working with the El Paso County Health to develop something that would be like the first place to go if you're trying to search out help for a specific problem that you have. And so I am appealing to you to take a look at this and tell me, um, do you know somebody who has a specific presenting need for assistance with whether it's anxiety, stress, burnout? Would you take a look at the database, search out the recommendation that you think would be the most applicable for your situation. And let me know kind of the percentage of satisfaction you have around the results. And my purpose is twofold. Number one, I love to share resources, and I hope that every resource that I share is something that can liberate somebody into bringing their brilliance to the world. But number two, I want to know what gaps exist in a solution like this and whether there is need for something else. And, that could be a need for developing this existing resource or something like it, or creating something completely different. But my goal is that everyone has the tools that they need to experience the wholeness of life and be successful in their workplace and at home. Sometimes that just means I need help solving a problem that I can't solve on my own. And I don't even have time to sit. I mean, have you ever tried to find a mental health professional? I mean, sometimes you have to meet with several before you find someone who actually gets you, and that's time consuming. And if you don't have that covered by insurance, then it's expensive. So finding other ways to take care of the monkeys that are chattering away not only helps us to function better, bring more wholeness to the workplace and to home, but we can be more effective at work with the full cognitive resonance that it takes to be excellent in what we do. But we can also be a better supporter at home of our spouse, our kids, because we're not falling down the path of all of the old conversations that take us into discord. We can actually recognize patterns and stop them and approach life in a much more constructive manner. This is my goal. I want to be more fully available to my workers, my coworkers, and my family and my friends. I don't want them to see Donna as that burdensome, always has a problem person. So I hope that you can play around with this database that I'm going to connect you to, and let me know what you think. Please comment or shoot me an email. I'll give you the options to do both. But most of all, I just really want to know your opinion as just a supporter of mental health in this community on how we can best provide our community and our surrounding people, our network, with the resources we need to not just survive every day, but truly thrive, truly end up with all the tools we need in order to be really the brilliant people that God has made us to be. Um, I just recently had this little rash on my lip come back again after I thought it was healed. It took a year after a very stressful time for me to try to get rid of an all over body rash. And then I had this thing on my lip, and I feel like such a freak, and I just want to hide and not come out. Well, turns out that after all of the work that I've done to try to create the equanimity in my life, to be well, be fully engaged, to be energetic and happy, just in general, so that I can really present something to the world that's valuable. This little rash came back again, and I went to my doctor and said, "What the heck? Where did this come from?" And she said, it still comes back down to stress. And we muscle tested this. This was not just an opinion. We asked the body what's going on, and the body keeps the score. And when we stop taking care of the body, it will find some way to rebel. So my goal in life is to find a new normal, a new cadence that will help me to not only thrive, but really point people in the direction of being happy. And honestly, I had a conversation with someone the other day about mental health and what to do in the workplace to support our workforce, to support our small business community. And she said, as a therapist, so many of the presenting needs that I talk to people about are just human needs. It's really not even about mental health so much as it is just being human. And it led me down the path of thinking, wow, I'm glad that people are more aware of mental well-being. And I wonder if we're giving ourselves the permission to just recognize that a lot of the things that trip us up are just normal to all humans. So I hope that you find it comfortable in your life to be crazy as usual and to help me to figure out what's the best way for us to support each other and support the growth of our workplace, so that people can be wholly engaged in work and not worried about what's going on at home, and the whole world will stop kicking the dog. I'm sorry, Riley, nobody would kick you, but it feels that way, doesn't it? That there are just mean people out there. Let's just create a world with fewer mean people. What do you say? Let me know what you think, and thanks for joining us at Crazy as Usual today.